Hello and welcome to the training. This training is Measurable Objectives. Happy Bengal Wednesday. For those of you who don't know, if you work at New Day and you haven't already done this, go down to the Orange and Black store and get a t-shirt on us because on Wednesdays we try to support Idaho State University in the community. Wednesday is Bengal Wednesday. So those of you that are watching this video, if you haven't got your free t-shirt, get your free t-shirt. And those of you in the room, please stop by and get your free t-shirt. Go Bengals. Couple of things real quick. I'm Terry Fredrickson. I'm the CEO of the company. If I haven't met you, I can't wait to meet you. So make sure you take a second to come in and meet me. If you're watching this video and you haven't met me yet, be sure and come and meet me. I look forward to meeting you. Look forward to meeting everybody that works at New Day. But before we get started, I want to tell you guys a story. Now, those of you that are on the camera, I'm going to be looking away because I have people behind you that you can't see. But I'll try and look at the camera occasionally and look up here. This is definitely a different situation how we're doing this. So I want to tell you a quick story. Now, I grew up in southern Idaho. Those of you that don't know me, I grew up in southern Idaho, and my dad had kind of a farm. It was he had some property, and I think he basically, my mother allowed him to buy it so that it would keep him busy, right? That was something for him to tinker with, right? My dad was always tinkering, fixing, making things better, trying to fix things up. So I'll never forget this day. My dad called me over and he says, I need you to go get a part in Twin Falls for me, okay? And I need you to get there, and I need you to get there before 3:30 p.m. because the guy who has the part is going to leave at 3:30 p.m. If you're there at 3:33, he's going to be gone. If you're there at 3:35, he's going to be gone. If you're there earlier, he's going to be gone. I need you to be there right at 3:30, period. No questions asked. And I said, okay, Dad, you got it. And he said, why don't you take the old Ford sitting over there, the old Ford truck, the F-150, and like a 1967 Ford pickup, right? He said, take that, and remember you gotta prime the pump, the carburetor, get it ready to go. This is an old truck, right? Probably in today's dollars, probably cost $500 to get the twin and back in gas prices. Back then I think gas was 67 cents a gallon. So I went over, I got the truck going, I got it started up. I was really excited. This is kind of one of the first real independent jobs my dad gave me. Go do this for me, So I get in the truck, I get going, I get on the highway, I look down, and I'm like, okay, I got to make sure I get there on time, right? I got to make sure I get there right at 3:30. And I look down at the speedometer to make sure that I could set the right pace, and guess what? The damn odometer didn't work in this old truck, right? You can imagine the feeling of, oh my gosh, I got to figure out how to get there. Am I going too slow? Am I going too fast? And of course, it was early in the morning, so there's maybe one or two truckers going. So I'm trying to pace myself with the other truckers. I'm trying to figure out how to get there. And I'll tell you guys, it was really crazy because I didn't know how to get there. I didn't know how fast or how slow. And then I started worrying, what if I get a ticket? If I'm going too fast, right, and I get pulled over, right, I'm not only going to get a ticket, but I'll probably get a ticket for failure, faulty equipment on the truck, and I'm just awfulizing all the things that can happen, right? Well, that's the first story I want to tell you guys. Second story is, again, southern Idaho, rural southern Idaho. I showed up for a basketball game at a school. I won't mention any names, Dietrich. Showed up for this school. It looked like a church. I'll never forget this. This school out in the middle of nowhere. We come pulling up. We get out of our van, or out of our team van. We go walking into the gym, and right as we get to the gym, the athletic director comes up and says, "Hey, just want to let you know our scoreboard doesn't work, but don't worry, we have someone over in the stands taking score." You can trust us. It's all right. We'll keep score. If you need to know what the score is or what the time is, left in the game, holler over at us and we'll tell you real quick, right? First of all, I was like, wait a minute. How do you play a game, a basketball game, when you don't have a score or a time, right? Guys, those are two examples of my life where I realized how important measurable objectives are, right? Be able to see how much time you have left on the clock and realize how fast you're going to get into an appointment, right? Now, here's the crazy thing. We work with other human beings, right? Someone said, what do you think the hardest job is to do in society? What do you think? I said, it's working with other human beings, man, trying to help another human being, because it's most of the time we're trying to help ourselves. We're trying to get better, and in this job we're trying to get better, but we're also trying to get someone else better. But I'll tell you guys, one of the things I've noticed the most after 11 years of working in this field is how often we give people with disabilities tasks without any measurable outcomes or any way for them to understand what the objective is, what they're doing. It's just like having them jump in a car without an odometer, and it's just like having them go to a basketball game without a scoreboard. We do it all the time, and we don't realize that we're doing it, right? But we say, hey, why don't you go clean this room? And we come back 10 minutes later, and we say, hey, why don't you clean the room? And we come back 10 minutes later, we go, what's going on? Why didn't you clean the room, right? Or we say, well, hey, I told Bob to clean that area. Why didn't he clean that area? Or I told Bob to fold those shirts or sand that board. And a lot of times we don't realize that we are so vague in how we do things and so vague at how we ask for things to get done that a lot of times we literally are setting them and us up for failure, right? So how do we get around that? How do we avoid that? There's three core things that we need to take into consideration, and these are three very important indicators to help us avoid giving tasks without any kind of measurable objectives, okay? So the first one, number one, did we, don't say you, don't say I, it's we. Whenever you're working with another person, it's a team effort, right? We. I've also seen that happen a lot, where a lot of times a job coach will come in and say, why didn't you? I know, that was just as much you as them. This is a we thing here, right? We. Because in the end, if Tina's going to call you and say, hey, why did that building get cleaned? It's not going to be, well, it's going to be, well, we didn't get it cleaned, we didn't do this. It's a we. So remember that, we. Very important. Did we accomplish our objective? Did we accomplish what we set out to do? That's the first question we need to ask. And feel free to ask the person you're working with, hey, did we accomplish what we set out to do here? Did we solve the problem we set out to solve? If the answer is yes, how do we know? Right? How do we know that we did it? Is everything clean? Did everything get moved? Did you vacuum up all the pieces of paper? Did you fold the shirt correctly? Did you get the board put in the right place? Right? How did we do it? If no, where did we fall short? And why? Where did we fall short and why? Again, I've seen this happen so many times where the job coach comes in, Hannah, and they say, this floor's not clean. And they walk out of the room. And the client goes, okay. Look clean to me, But taking a second and taking that next step and saying, this floor's not clean, and look, there's some spots that we could get right here, right? See, this is why I say it's not clean. Explaining, right? Explaining yourself. A lot of times, if you just say, this is not clean, it comes across as a reprimand. If you say, this is not clean because, if I were doing it, or if Tina's going to check this, she's going to look for this, right? If Terry walked by, he'd want to make sure that this part got done. Feel free to use your teammates, right? Feel free to use your teammates. I'm okay with being the bad guy. If Terry walked by and saw those boards that way, woo, boy, I'd be in trouble. Yeah, right? Explain what that objective was. Give them the odometer. Show them what the score is. Okay? Second question to ask. Can we do this again? If we successfully just did this, I wonder if we could do it again just like this tomorrow. Right? Could we accomplish this again? And could we accomplish it again without as much direction? Right? Wow, that would be really cool. I'll never forget, I walked down to the Orange and Black store. We had a client there that was sweeping the entryway. Guys, that Orange and Black store collects dirt and leaves from the entire city of Pocatello. I swear, if a leaf falls in Chubbuck, it ends up at our door at the Orange and Black store. I promise you. I don't know how it happens, but I promise you it happens. I walked in, I said, hey man, this looks great. You did a wonderful job. This is super great detail. I'm curious, tomorrow you're going to be able to do exactly the same way that you did it today? I got a photo the next day asking me, does this look like it did yesterday? From the client, right? He had got out his cell phone, took a picture, and he said, hey Terry, does this look like it did? That to me was a success, right? His goal, I had set the standard for that individual to try and meet that standard. And it was a simple question of, do you think you can do that this way again tomorrow? Okay, yeah. 2 weeks later, I walked by and I said, man, this looks just like it did 2 weeks ago. You're doing a great job. Again, light bulb. Yeah, there's that measurable objective. We have a time frame. We have when it was done right. Let's try and do that again, right? Was it too little or was it too much when you set that time frame? Was it too little or was it too much? Did we do it just right? Did we not do it good enough? Did we go overboard, right? Sometimes we have a tendency to give an objective and that, we walk out and they're scraping the gum off and we go, hey, that gum's supposed to be there. It's holding the building up. Right? It was a little too much, right? Again, defining that objective. Third question you want to ask. So the first question, quick review, did we accomplish our objectives? Did we accomplish what we set out to do? Second question, could we do it again? Can we put a timestamp on this? Can we be successfully doing this? Will there come a day that you don't even have to ask me if this front entry looks good? It will just be done. I mean, how great would that be? What an amazing day that will be. Third question, did we do a good job? This is quality assurance, guys, right? I'll tell you guys, there's days I show up here and, I showed up. I did some things on my checklist today, right? I really hated if someone would ask me that third question, Hannah. I don't want to know, did I do a good job? I tried, come on, yeah. Did we do a good job? Can we maintain this level? And if we can, what can we do to help us maintain that level, right? What can I do to help you? I'll never forget this. We had the front entryway, which just looked horrible. It looked bad. And I'm like, what happened? A week ago, this place looked awesome, and the last 2 weeks, it's looked really bad, right? Went in and asked the job coach. I don't know. I told him to vacuum up there. We finally had the client walk in, check in for work in the evening, and 5 o'clock, we're all getting ready to go. They're cleaning the building. We said, hey, what's going on? The front end doesn't look too good. Oh, that vacuum, every time I turn it on, it just blows dust. Okay. That could explain why there's an inch of dust everywhere in the building, right? Yeah, come find out the vacuum was faulty. It was broken. And had we asked, what can we do to help you maintain 2 weeks level to this week's level? I mean, this individual didn't understand that they needed to ask for that help. They just thought that help naturally came, right? We need to be on top of that. What can we do to help you and us maintain that level of quality? A lot of times we forget that the people in the trenches know where the battle lines are at because we're sitting back directing the battle. And when we ask someone, hey, what's the best way to win this battle? They say, oh, if you go left and then right and then up that hill and over, you'll win. We go, okay, well, we're up in the command center, so we should probably keep going straight. Right? Listen to your coworkers. Listen to the people that you're job coaching. A lot of times they know, they've been around the block, they've seen things. Some of the best chemicals that we use in car detailing came from clients who said, oh, I worked at a detailing shop once. We used to use this one. It's much better. Oh, okay, let's go get that. Oh, by the way, it's $10 cheaper. I like you. You're saving us money and doing it easier, right? Genius. Don't be afraid to ask what we can do to maintain. Now, the last thing, one quick review. Did we accomplish our objective? Did we solve the problem? Can we do it again? And the third thing is, can we do a good job every time? Can we maintain doing a good job? The last and most important thing, and this is vital, this is your scoreboard, right, is being able to document the success or the failures that you're having, right? I can't stress this enough to you guys, and I can't stress this enough to you, all of you on the video. Your documentation is vital for the people that we serve. The reason it's vital is it allows us to have measuring sticks to help them get the funding that they get. I've had people come in, Hannah, and they go, Terry, I feel like the biggest jerk. I feel like the biggest jerk when I really give these guys a bad score. I feel like the biggest jerk when I put no all the way down, or I'm really critical. I feel like the biggest jerk. And I look at them and I say, don't. You just did that individual the biggest favor that you could do for them, because by you being critical of their job, their performance, it's allowing the state of Idaho to know that they still need assistance. Some of the biggest travesties that I've seen in this field is at New Day and other private for-profit agencies telling someone with a disability, you're good, you're doing great. And they put them out in the community, you're good, you're great. And they cut back on their funding and they cut back on their supports, and that person fails. And usually they don't fail back to this level. When they fail, they go all the way to that bottom level. And it is a bad situation because in their minds, they experienced success and they had a massive failure. It's not just I'll bounce back. It's a big failure. So one of the worst things you can do is not be accurate on your paperwork, not be honest on your paperwork, and not do your paperwork. Seriously, one of the worst things you can do. And that really gets bad if I turn your paperwork in and say, yeah, they performed that service, and then y'all don't do the paperwork side of it. It looks like I just committed fraud or Hannah committed fraud, right? It's vital that you do that. It's vital that you do those services. So, with that said, I'm going to let the expert of paperwork, the expert not of paperwork, but the expert of the progress sheets that we do for job coaching, Hannah, explain to you the importance and explain to you how to fill out these forms. She has an example of one. So, Hannah, for those of you that don't know, in case you're new to the company or whatever, Hannah is a great resource. She's here to help you. She wants to help you succeed. She is the Director of Vocational Services, so she's an expert in her field. So listen very closely as she explains how to do the data sheets.
Okay, thank you. I'll send this around to everyone after I show the camera and talk about it a little, but a little bit of a visual aid. So basically, the paperwork, as you all know, looks like this. For the most part, a little changes happened in the wording of this, and kind of some of that is to counter what Terry was talking about of feeling so like negative about having to put no's on people's data sheets consistently, because we have to hold up to a pretty high standard, and so sometimes it does feel pretty negative to have to write no's on everything. So instead of putting yes and no's, what we decided to do was just change it to the number of prompts it takes to complete a goal or a task throughout the whole shift. But this paper kind of goes through what we need on here. So obviously this is the time that you get them to job coach. This doesn't necessarily always meet up with the time that they start working. For example, if we have someone who would drive out to a site to meet a job coach, they clock in at 7:30 in the morning, but they don't get the job coach until 8. Their job coaching hours starts at 8 o'clock here, and then whatever time they finish. This is where all of the data goes. As you can see, this is more yes and no's. It's a little bit of an older paper. You'll just write the number of prompts it takes for you to help the client finish all of their tasks completely, fully, correctly, and in an appropriate amount of time. A little bit further down, you'll see here reason for absence. This is important to have just so that way if Medicaid or vocational rehabilitation came and asked, like, hey, why are they missing so much work? I have a reason to put here, and sometimes it's just because they no-called, no-showed on you. Happens not infrequently, but make sure to still note it so I know what I can tell Medicaid when they ask, if they ask. And then down here is just the hours they worked and your initials. It's important to put your initials on so that way if I see that someone had a really bad day, like someone had, when they typically have like maybe 10 prompts for a day and they suddenly have 25, I can go to the right job coach and ask like, hey, what happened? When you picked them up, how were they? Let's talk it through and see what happened and do our best to make sure that they're getting the supports they need, not only from us, but from everyone around them. The only part that the clients really fill out and is still on you guys to make sure that it gets completed is the signatures and comments. Most clients are not going to have a comment, and that's totally okay. It's just state mandated that we ask. If someone says they don't have a comment, please write like NC for no comment, or NA, or fully no comment. Don't just leave it blank, because we just have to show that we asked. Client signature, this is super important because this tells Medicaid that the client was there to sign on and approve that we gave them quality service hours. If we don't have the client signature on this, this whole paper means absolutely nothing, because we could just bull crap anything on here that we ever wanted to. So having this signature shows to them that the client says, yeah, I did work these hours or I missed this day. And then have your signature here just as a witness. I know it says supervisor on the bottom, but it's as a supervisor of the client, which is the job coach. As you're going through these, most people will have very similar goals. We're keeping track of, on my end, where the level is of reaching the goal that they're working towards. So it's just on you guys to, as best you can, promote working and giving encouragement and praise and prompts, but as little as possible, and work your way up towards needing more intensive or direct prompts. So say you have someone, you get to the site and your client hops out and they just kind of stand there. Don't just immediately dive into, okay, do this and this and this. Try and have them come up with what they should be doing. So, hey, what should we start with today? And that kind of helps them not only learn the way that they should be doing things and going through things, but it also helps them and helps teach them that they're independent and they get to have a choice in what they're doing and making sure that they're getting everything done. So if you ever have any questions on how to go about giving prompts or what counts as a prompt, or if a certain behavior that they're having is meeting or not meeting a goal, just give me a text, a call onto my work cell phone, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, just so that way we can be on the same page. If you have a question about, like, if someone's goal doesn't seem to be matching up with certain behaviors that you're seeing, feel free to come and ask me if there's anything different that we could do, a different way to word it, and we'll work through it and make sure we get everything as sorted and accurate as possible. So,
Awesome.
Okay, let Terry take it back over.
Thanks, Hannah. Well, guys, that's the training in a nutshell. Those of you that are watching the video, please reach out if you have questions or comments or anything you'd like to add. I'd love to hear them. I've always tried to have an open door policy here at New Day in the last 11 years I've been here, and I'll continue to do so. In closing, I just want to remind everybody, it's not very often that you have a job that you get to make a huge difference in someone's life. Unfortunately for us, sometimes we don't get to see the ripple effect of what we do. We deal with the day in and day out problems, but we don't see someone who successfully now is living independently, or perhaps successfully now feels like they're a part of the community, has self-worth. That's a huge thing. We live in a society of hopelessness, and this company provides hope. So I really hope that you guys, not to play on word, but I really hope that you guys realize that you are providers of hope. We live in a society where people judge themselves based on social media, not on reality. And reality is New Day. Some days it's awesome, and some days you want to pull your hair out. That's reality.
That's why I wear a wig.
Yes. Kelly said that's why he wears a wig. Those of you that haven't met Kelly, she has a wig on right now. And I'm going to need one soon. It's coming. So please keep up the good work. Please know that you're making a difference. We're grateful for you. We can't tell you how grateful we are for you guys. We really can't. Every day I thank my higher power for a few things, and one of them includes you guys. So I hope you know that. So hope you have an awesome day. Keep being rock stars. Keep being all-stars. Keep making a difference. Don't drive the Twin without a vehicle that doesn't have an odometer, and please don't play any sports where the home team has the advantage of keeping the books. I hope you guys have a great day and keep up the good work. Thanks. Bye.